Good afternoon. This is Dr. Bill Wyatt again with the American Orthodontic Society, and I'm going to record a short video here on the eruption of upper right cuspid into the palatal area. Normally this happens on the labial side rather than on the lingual side. Excuse me. But this time it's happening on the lingual side, right in the top of the palate. This cuspid erupts into the mouth. So anyway, I'm going to discuss this with you just a few minutes. I've got several x-rays on it, but it's a very short video and won't take us very long to do this. So I'm going to go ahead into the pictures on this young man that this happened on. Nice looking young fella. He's already in braces now when I got these pictures, so it started a short time before this. Now I'm going to show you his models. They've got several things wrong with them, not a whole big bunch of problems, but the bite's too close on it, and I think he has a slight class 2 problem, but not a severe one, with a little overjet. Of course, the overbite in here, and we're going to try to bring the mandible forward this back and get the class 1 correction, and we'll have to enlarge the arches. Now they'll be kind of deformed with that tooth being in the palate like that. Now on the other side, we're pretty close to class 1 over here. This is the 6-year molar here, and the upper molar coming down. It's just teeth in there. It's not a big deal case. Pretty normal. But there's a reason for the cuspid erupting here in the palate, the upper right side. It just got on the wrong side of the lateral and came down and opened up here in the palate rather than out here on the labial side of the mouth, and it kind of left this arch form like that, and then it certainly is not symmetrical at all. So we'll have to open this up and kind of expand this out, make space in here, and then pull that cuspid into that space. It's not a big deal case, but I thought it was rather interesting. There's very few cuspids erupt into the palate like this. They nearly all erupt under the lip. Okay. Excuse me. All right. Now this is 1987, and I think those other models were 1984, and I think I've got an x-ray on it back in 83 when I first was aware of this development right here. Now this is after we had pretty well it's on the way to being finished, in other words, but we still got brackets on the teeth, you can see, going around like that. Now let's look at this x-ray in 1983. This 8/26 of 83, and if you notice, the follicular cyst, or this follicle around that cuspid, is rather large on this right side. On the left side, where it was coming into the outside, the thing apparently broke through a little bit, and there's a fairly small follicle around that tooth, but the one on the right is much larger, and I can erase that, you can see it a little bit better. And if you look at it very closely, you can see the outline of the lateral on the crown of this permanent lateral right here. And you can see the shape of it. Let me erase that and look at it close, and you can see the lateral root shadow of it in the x-ray there, right in this area. Now, and then you put your finger up in the roof of this young man's mouth and kind of palpate around the back. Even then you could tell that the cuspid was on the lingual side. Now today we've got a lot more complicated x-rays and see this thing, you can tell exactly where it is. But we could figure out back then where it is. I had no problem figuring that out and knowing where it was. And so we got it in. We put tip in these two teeth, you see, right here, and tip the roots in this direction by coming in with the ox wire, making it kind of up like this, maybe not that much, and tip these roots over this direction. Then we expanded this gap right in here, and then we would push this tooth back. Now this is the deciduous tooth that's in there. That's now here is the permanent bicuspid, I think is headed here and here, and these are the baby teeth, and here is the deciduous cuspid line in here, and it's relatively unresorbed in this area, so it may have had something to do with the tooth being positioned this way, in that the resorptive power of this tooth did not really resorb this deciduous cuspid root, and that may have been one of our causes here. But whatever it is, we'll end up taking that out, bringing this back and opening this gap, which you would do normally. And then when you open into this, then this will go away in size, and it ends up being the epithelial tissue around the neck of this cuspid after it gets into the mouth. Okay, let's go ahead. Now here it is in 1984, and the tooth has come on in, and it's totally inside the mouth in relation to this lateral. Of course, you can look at the model that we had back there just a little while ago, and you can see this tooth is quite a ways from the lateral erupting in back there. Okay, that's a poor x-ray, and you can't call them back. That was taken in 1976. There it is, 77, and we're pretty well finished with the case, but you can see the tooth is in, so we've expanded and got the roots parallel. Everything's looking quite good on the case. I don't think it doesn't look too hot. I don't think we had too much to do with that. This tooth right here, it needs some tip to bring this root back in this direction. So you'd have to kind of go up and come down like this and come back up, and that would hook it in there. You have a little sloping area across that tooth, and that would force the root back in that direction. Other than that, everything looks quite good. Now, this is 1988, and the young man is 17 and 6 months at this point, and everything's in the mouth in good shape. And I can't think I've even got the braces taken off and everything at this point. And the last panorex we took on was in 1993, and he was 21 years of age, and here is the teeth on that side. They are sitting in a good class 1 relation right here. You can see that from this. This is a ideal class 1. The overjet and overbite looks pretty doggone good right there. The young man doesn't brush his teeth as well as I would like for him to, but very few people probably do. Anyway, here he is during the treatment. No special thing. We used twin brackets on the front teeth. I don't normally do that. I just usually put those little bitty ones. These are single brackets with wings on them back here, and this is kind of, I think, would be good for you people to start off with these. Anyway, they help you rotate. I mean, you can really rotate good with them, and they're just got an inner bracket space, you see, on there that's pretty wide, and I think that is a good bracket to start with, and if you like them, there's no reason not to go now. We've got good sealants. These brackets are quite well. Now, okay, this is class 1 too. It's sitting in there good, and I think we've got our arch form coordinated and everything is going. Now that one's not sitting in there as good. Maybe he's got his jaw shifted to one side, but everything looks like it's pretty good at that point. Now, when you take a tooth out of the palate, like a cuspid like this, and we drag it over into position, and it's lined up real good. He chipped that tooth right there and had a replacement that's not too hot. But look at the track that it made through the bone structure, and let's left that. Now that'll stay for a few years, but it'll finally fill up, and you can hardly tell where it was after a while. So the case looks good, no problem, and this is just upper palatal expansion, eruption, which is normal. So we'll close out and say goodbye. I think somebody's making an awful lot of noise here. We'll have to edit some of that. Thank you for watching, and maybe this has some interest for some people that are doing this. So we'll say goodbye and close this out. Thank you a lot now.